Hello, everyone, and welcome to the astrology for mid-Feb through till the end of the month. Now, this is the longer form video. I'm actually recording it on my computer because it's like 37 degrees and my phone is overheating. So yeah, I am excited to share the astrology with you, but also a little bit apprehensive because, there are some very intense alignments coming up for us, beginning on Valentine's Day. So if you're listening to this on the day that I've made it, the 14th of February, we see Mars enter Aquarius. Now, Mars will join with Pluto and they will be conjunct. Now, this is not a very common aspect, okay, because Pluto takes about 246 years to do one full circle around the sun. So it means that it hasn't been since about 1778 that we saw these two come together. And in fact, when I did my research before, it looks like it wasn't until 1779 that they actually conjoined. So this is the last time. And then if we go back a previous Pluto cycle, this happened back in 1533 in that Pluto period between 1533 and 1553. Now, this is these two periods of time, okay, the 16th century and the 18th century, they were marked by Pluto and Aquarius. Now we're talking the 1535 to 1555 period, and then the 1778 to 1798 period. Okay, I just had to compute that in my brain. Now, the first period was a very interesting period where we saw what sources online suggest is the rise of the Western civilization. Now, remember that Aquarius has themes for humanity and for the growth and for growth of population, development of sciences, as well as investigations into the mind. Now, the concept of empiricism and rationalism, these themes became more important in the 16th century, likely to be kicked off by that period in Aquarius, where Pluto was, doing some very big transformational work on the collective. Now, this period was, let me have a look, was also marked by, quite a bit of discord. And one of the prime things that happened was we had Henry VIII. Actually, he left Rome and started the Church of England. Now, this created a period of upheaval that lasted throughout most of that Pluto in Aquarius period. So there is a revolutionary energy that goes with Pluto in Aquarius. There is definitely a tone of things connected to the mind and sciences and furthering investigations. Okay, we saw in that first period the discovery of the heliocentric astronomical system, okay, which is about like planets circling the sun, which was put forward by, I think, Nicholas Copernicus, and he was it was kind of like a crazy sort of heretical thing to say back then. So we see these kind of revolutionary ideas, but there are also themes of, power and control dynamics being used over the population, as well as sort of individual fractions or factions, not fractions, factions breaking off and starting their own revolutionary group. So I think these themes are going to continue to be significant in this next 20-year period where we have Pluto moving through Aquarius. Now, the second part, before I get back to Mars joining with Pluto tomorrow, I want to talk about the second or the most recent transit of Pluto through Aquarius. Now, Pluto moved through Aquarius back in 1778, did a little bit of a retrograde back into Capricorn, and then by the December 1778, it then entered into Aquarius to spend 20 years there. Now, this period was the period that marked the American Revolution. It also marked the later in that period was the French Revolution. So we can see that there is a lot of change going on. There is a lot of change of ideas. Okay, remember Aquarius is an air sign. but it is a fixed sign. Okay, so if you've got one person here having a very sure idea of something, and then someone else over here having a very sure idea of something, then this can create division, and this can create turmoil. So that is one of the biggest risks. And as we have moved through time, and now we're looking at the world through the lens of artificial intelligence, and different types of scientific discoveries and technologies that are coming out, like wearable technologies and apps that track your sleep, or things that can actually, you're getting blood tests to measure all the different levels in your body. It's about the control of that information, and features around privacy as well will be significant, because if we think about putting our power and control into the system of technology, and removing it from the human somewhat, then that is a whole other new world problem. Potentially also with a lot of benefits, maybe we can save a lot of time. I personally have tried that Chat GPT, and I thought it was kind of interesting, a little bit creepy, but yeah, I know people who use that in their work all the time. So I think that's going to become a growing theme. I mean, someone recently said to me that there are like hundreds or thousands of companies that have started up this type of technology. So it's going to grow exponentially across the next 20 years. So what about now? Okay, so Pluto has recently just moved into Aquarius, where it's going to spend about 20 years. Okay, this is going to be significant in terms of our civilization and the changes that we see in our lifetime. But we haven't seen Mars meet with Pluto since 1779. So what are we going to get this time around? Now, we don't know for sure. In astrology, we look at the symbolism, we look at the significations of these planets, and we put them together into like a soup. Now, our soup here is pretty intense. Okay, we've got the themes of Pluto, which are, transformation, death, power and control, empowerment, small things, microscopic things becoming bigger. This can be, when mixed with Mars, can bring a really strong desire to make a change. Now, Mars is our courage, it is our force, it is our will, okay? And when these two are combined, if it's in a personal way, or excuse me, I'm sitting my computer, then it's possible, if this hits your chart in a personal way, then it's possible that you could have a very big breakthrough. We sometimes need these volcanic or catastrophic aspects to change our timeline, change our destiny even. And so instead of being afraid of it, yes, we need to tread carefully for the rest of the month. We need to tread carefully. We need to cool the jets, okay? Calm the fire down. Mars, hot and dry. Pluto intensifies everything it touches, okay? So we don't want to lose control. We need to be in our bodies. We need to be grounded. We need to slow down and drink plenty of water and have plenty of sleep, so that we're rational in our minds and we don't do crazy things, okay? Because this aspect is explosive. Now, it is possible that certain countries in the world, especially if their federation charts or founding charts have sensitive points in the early degrees of fixed signs where this aspect is happening, that this could show up as an event in their country. Okay, it's also possible that these themes could touch your life in a personal way. And so, like I said, you can work with this energy of empowerment and intense motivation. If you've been stuck in a rut, there's nothing like Mars Pluto to kick your ass and get you out of it, okay? But yeah, and that's going to be most likely to be felt in the charts of people who have planets, especially the ascendant, sun, moon, and any of those inner planets, in the early degrees of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio. Okay, so grab your birth chart and have a look. Now, if you're going through a lot right now, or you're feeling really curious about how this is likely to impact your chart, then you can always reach out to book with me, okay? I have recently changed my website to danielleashley.com.au. You can still get through at queenofheartsastrology.com because there's a redirect, but I'm in the process of changing my personal brand, or bringing in a personal brand, and saying farewell to the Queen of Hearts. Now that's kind of exciting to me because I have a lot of offerings, and I have noticed that the Queen of Hearts is just another additional layer of complexity, you know, rather than just being me and offering Chinese medicine and medical astrology and horary and predictive and all these things, as well as sound healing. And it's too much for people to get their head around when we add a theatrical element. Now, I am feeling really good about just being me. So do keep an eye out for that. On your Instagram, it's going to come across as Danielle Ashley Healing. Eventually, YouTube will change too, not straight away. And then Facebook will be the same as Instagram. So that'll be Danielle Ashley Healing. So what else is happening for the rest of the month? We're going to have a big party in Aquarius, okay? We're going to have the Sun, we're going to have Mercury, we're going to have Mars with Pluto, and then Venus is going to step in on the 17th, okay? So the 14th is Valentine's Day, okay? Does it look like the astrology for a really romantic, tender, loving day when we see Mars step in to conjoin with Pluto? Well, the answer is no, not really. And then what happens with the lunar cycle? Also, like the moon does something which activates that even more. Okay, so the moon is moving through Aries at the start of Valentine's Day here in Australia. And then what it will do is it will get into Taurus and square Pluto and Mars. Okay, so it's drawing attention to those two planets. Okay, so this could make for a little bit of a fight, or maybe some kind of drama. So my suggestion to you is if you're going to go out for a romantic dinner for Valentine's Day or whatever, maybe just save it a little bit. Okay, maybe do it in March. Do it at the start of March when we have Venus in Pisces, you know, exalted, and Mars far away enough from Pluto. That would be my advice, and save yourself that stupid tax they put on things. Okay, but anyway, let's carry on. So we've got Mars-Pluto conjunction on the 14th of Feb. We've got Venus stepping in to join with those on the 17th of Feb. So that means, yeah, we've got Venus, Mars, Pluto, the Sun, and Mercury all in Aquarius, okay? So this is really putting a lot of emphasis on that part of your chart. So have a look at the houses, or the house where you find Aquarius in your natal chart, because that is getting sizzled right now. It's active. It's super active. You know, for me, that's my first house because I've got Aquarius rising, 1 degree Aquarius rising, right? So big time, you know, I'm changing my identity with my brand. You know, I've got lots going on with my career, okay, because I've got my ascendant ruler in the 10th house, okay? So if you're curious about how this applies to you, I can book you in for a session, and we can delve into it more deeply. So Venus will jump in and it will join the party. It'll join Pluto and Mars, and Venus is probably maybe going to improve matters somewhat, but it's also going to be a little bit like too much Aquarius going on. Venus in Aquarius isn't exactly like romantic. It's kind of, Aquarius is a air sign, okay? It's also inclined to detachment and needing quite a bit of space. So, you know, this could be a time where actually relationships turn a little bit cooler, okay? Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. It's cold and dry, which separates. So, you know, if you're feeling like you're you sort of at that turning point with your relationship, you know, this could really be the catalyst that sort of decides the outcome once and for all. This could put pressure on relationships, okay, because Venus will conjoin with Mars in Aquarius as well, and that's happening on the 17th. So, but, you know, as they separate from Pluto and they sort of remain within orb together, this could bring up relationship themes. You know, Venus Mars is a pretty sexy combination. Okay, so that could be more on people's minds. it obviously depends on the way that it works with your birth chart. So all these transit charts have something to say on their own, okay, and they can be used in terms of mundane astrology, looking at different countries' charts and things, but the way that it's likely to really impact you depends on your birth chart, okay? So that's really what you need to get your head around and see how it slots in like that. Now, we have a full moon later this month. Now, this is quite an interesting one. It's a full moon in Virgo. The full moon in Virgo is going to be on the, where's my little notes? It's going to be on the Saturday the 24th, I think it is. Just let me check this. Yeah, Saturday the 24th of Feb. Now, this is likely to be most significant for people with planets in mutable signs, okay? Because Virgo is a mutable sign, okay? The opposite sign, Pisces, is likely to be affected too. So this is going to shine a light on something for you. So if you've got your moon or your rising or planets in Virgo, in Pisces, in Gemini, or in Sagittarius, this full moon is likely to be more kind of insightful, perhaps for you, illuminating. It is also in aspect to Saturn. So soon after it makes its full moon configuration, which is late on the Saturday night, about 11:50 or something, it will begin to oppose Saturn. Now, it's not really like the most fluffy bunny happy vibes, but Saturn can provide some ability to form a plan, okay, or know that it needs to kind of rein in something in order to have something later on. Okay, that's the kind of Saturn vibe. It's not exactly like, woo, but we do have to remember that there is a bright side to this. So while the moon will oppose Saturn, it will also move towards the trine of Jupiter. Okay. And so this is sort of like, well, maybe you'll get some kind of awareness that pops through. Maybe there'll be some kind of realization that you have on this full moon. And maybe there'll be a modification that you'll make to your behavior or your life in some way. Maybe you'll rein something in order to have something greater, okay? Because we've got the principle of restriction, but we've also got the principle of growth and expansion, both activated at this full moon. So it's definitely not all doom and gloom. And I think as we move into Sunday and the moon in the morning begins to separate from Saturn and conjoin with Jupiter, then the energy should start to pick up. So that's a key feature of the month. And then by the time we get sort of to the end of the month, we see things starting to change. And I think that in March, you know, as I said briefly before, Venus will move out of Aquarius and Mars will move out of Aquarius, okay? And so this dynamic is going to start to separate. So we've really just got like a little bit of a big period for the next sort of week or two, especially the next 10 days, to really use this period to go in to yourself, find your own sense of empowerment, use the energy available, okay? There's a lot of energy available in the collective, okay? There's a lot of energy available in the mental realm, okay? Aquarius, stellium, it's air energy. So if you've got an idea or if you've got a positive ideology or some way that you can benefit the world, there's plenty of energy to drive that home right now. So I wish you all the best, and I will be back with another one of these soon.